Let's go on a trip. I tripped over a toy. She is a trip. Hey, don't trip. Why you tripping? He had a bad trip. I'm tripping balls. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the ways that we use trip in English. Most of you probably already know the first way that we use the word trip. We use trip as a noun when we're talking about traveling, going to different places. And we often say, take a trip or go on a trip. I want to go on a trip to Thailand next year. Or, I want to visit Thailand next year. And you can use go on a trip or take a trip, and they mean the same thing. The next way that we use trip is related to walking. If you are walking and maybe you don't see something on the ground, so your foot hits that thing and you start to fall. That is to trip. And we usually say to trip over something if we specify what the object is. So maybe your child left some toys on the floor in the living room, and you were walking, you were not being very careful, and you tripped over one of the toys. Similarly, you can trip another person. Hopefully you don't do this as an adult, but maybe when you were a child and you're walking with your friend and you kick your friend's leg to make them fall. You trip them. Next, you can be a trip. So if we say, she is a trip, that means she is not so normal. She says and does very interesting, maybe weird things. She is a trip. And you might hear someone say, don't trip, or why you trippin'? And this is slang. Here, trip means to become very concerned about something. So if someone tells you, don't trip means don't get worried about this. Don't get concerned about this. This doesn't matter. Calm down. Or if someone asks, why you trippin'? It means, why are you getting upset about this? Why are you getting concerned about this? Please calm down. But, again, it's slang, so I don't recommend using this in your daily life because it's very informal and there are a lot of people who will not understand it. And maybe you have heard someone talking about having a bad trip. They might be saying that their vacation was bad, but they might be talking about using drugs, specifically psychedelic drugs. A trip means an experience using psychedelic drugs. So, if someone says, I had a bad trip, it means that they had a really bad experience using psychedelic drugs. And sometimes we use trip as a verb to talk about doing psychedelic drugs. For example, if someone says, I am tripping means I am experiencing the effects of psychedelic drugs. And you might hear someone say, I'm tripping balls. This is just a stronger way to say I am tripping. So I'm tripping balls means I am experiencing the effects of psychedelic drugs and they are very strong. This experience is very intense. So yeah, those are some of the ways that we can use the word trip in English. Thank you for watching.